So it's slightly different today. I'm filming this from the top of the hill, this intro. I didn't want to do it at the bottom because this hill starts on a main road from a town. It's not horrible, it's not particularly bad, it just have a load of road noise and stuff. The drawback is I'm already out of breath and this is only going to be the intro. This is called Hope Mountain. It is a misnomer in two ways. It's not a mountain, it's a hill, and there is no hope to be found riding up this. It's not a mega hill as this area goes, but it's kind of the first thing you come to when you cross the Welsh border from a certain way, and it's very prominent as you cycle up to it. And there's this thing about Box Hill having like 6 different ways to climb it, isn't there? And people hype it, but there's 6 different roads up to where I am now that give you different kind of climbs. I've come the straight way today. It's 1.8 kilometers at 11.5%. It feels quite relentless, but actually there are little pitches, and I was quite happy with how I did. Definitely won't be a PB, but yeah, well, I probably shouldn't tell you that. I'll tell you how I did at the end. I think I'm 15th on the leaderboard currently, and I did like 370 watts for 6.5 minutes to do that, so not expecting anything along those lines today. I'm just not in that shape at the moment, but I'm feeling better every ride, so I've got cause to hope. Haha, on Hope Mountain. I told you I'll never do an intentional pun on this channel, and I meant it. Right, let's climb that hill that I've already climbed. So here we begin, turning on to, I think it's called Pentra Lane. I think that means village lane in Welsh, but I might be wrong, who knows. You can see that it's not an immediately hard start. It is a fairly busy road at times, although it's a small road. There's houses kind of all the way up it, and as you saw from the very introduction, we're not in rural Wales here. This is, dare I say, a suburb of Wrexham. It's not quite a suburb of Wrexham, but it's well inhabited around here, so there is more traffic. I don't know why, but there is always water on the road here. There could be a drought, and there would always be water on the road to contend with. It's just, I don't know what's going on. Sort it out, people of Hope. So, this is a great hill, and actually it's one of the first hills I ever did in Wales without my dad taking me out to it, because my old club, Birkenhead North End Cycling Club, hosted their annual club hill climb on, not on this road actually, but on one of the other ways up it, just slightly down the main road from here. And I won fastest to junior because there were only 2 of us, and I went to school with the other guy, and I really wanted to beat him. But it was my first proper ride with Birkenhead North End actually, and it was good fun. I'll apologise at this point because I've kind of started hot on this channel doing climbs like the Grim and the Bulk and the Old Shoe and stuff, and I may have given you the impression that there's not a road in Wales that isn't beautiful, and actually this is kind of bang average, isn't it? It's not a particularly pretty climb. It's good for a challenge, and as a hill climbing cyclist you'll have a good time going up it, but I suspect from a cinematography perspective you've watched better videos. If you can tell on the left, all of these sprouting plants, they are wild garlic. I know I went on about it in my last video, but it makes the climbs smell fantastic, having wild garlic sticking out everywhere. And so far I am quite happy with how I've managed to keep the power consistent. I'm keeping 60 to 70 RPM seated. That's back when I was quite good at climbing hills and before I started doubting myself and trying to copy anyone else's style I could. That was how I climbed hills, and that was what worked for me. So I think that's something to keep in mind, that probably when I'm comfortable in my own style, it is seated, not trying to spin massively, but kind of grinding out a 60 to 70 cadence. So you can see horse riders up ahead. I am always a bit nervous with horses. It's okay when you meet them head on. I always try and say something and give them as much space as I possibly can, but I hate coming across horse riders from behind just because, you know, through no fault of their own, if a horse gets spooked by a bike passing it, it will potentially rear up or kick or anything, and I really try and avoid that, so I try and pass wide and slow and talk to them as much as I can so I don't startle. So far I've had no issues, but when I was captain of the cycling club back in Hull, there was a big meet-up. They say they weren't the Countryside Alliance, but I suspect they were fox hunting. It was illegal by then. And I said, pass these horses wide and slow and respect them. And some of the lads were just like, oh yeah, whatever. And one of them actually close passed a horse, which did rear up and kick and narrowly missed him. So yeah, it's not to be messed about with. I've started putting down the power a bit again, because I thought you can actually see on the little segment graph, which I put in at mixed request, and I hope it adds a little bit to the video. I thought this bend was the next big left-hand bend along. And actually there's quite a lot more to go on the segment than I realised at the time, so I perhaps invested a little bit too much power at this point. But, you know, I didn't absolutely kill myself. I managed to keep it going a bit, but I really am starting to feel the pain now. I'm in the hurt locker, and something I've realised is, I don't know how much I've talked about my knee injury on this channel, but I hurt my knee last May, and it's still ongoing. There's all sorts of things that it annoys me that it prevents me from doing, because I can't really do squats anymore, and I don't just mean I can't do standard back squats. I mean, if I try and bear weight whilst bending my right knee below kind of 120 degree angle, it really hurts. It clicks and it really hurts, and I will feel it for a few days. So physio keeps saying, oh, you need to build strength around your knee, but like, how do I do that when I can't bend my knee? It doesn't make any sense. No one's given me an answer. Don't just give me a resistance band. It doesn't help. Anyway, my discontent with the fact that all physios give me the same 4 exercises no matter what the injury is aside, I'm starting to struggle here, and the reason I brought up my knee is because my right leg starts to cramp now when I'm really going deep on these efforts. It's clear that my right leg is weaker than my left leg, and that doesn't surprise me because I struggle with bearing too much weight on it, and it's what starts to get me around here. And you can see if I track my pedal strokes over time, because I've got dual-sided power meter pedals, you can actually see the decoupling that I start at 50-50, really nice balance, and then slowly but surely by the end I'll be doing like 70-30. Almost all of the power will be coming from my left leg as my right leg starts to cramp. I thought that house was the house at the top, and you can see that I'm not at the top, and there's another house that is the house at the top. So that was a bit disheartening, and that's why my power starts to drop down a little bit, because I think my head's gone a little bit. I keep thinking, oh, just let it be over. I sort of want it to be over. And I think at this point, if I'd had the segment on my Garmin, I actually would have been better off. I might have, you know, if I knew that I only had a couple of 100 meters to go and just absolutely stomp the pedals to get over it, that might have been a little bit easier for me. But on this occasion, I didn't have that. And that's a shame. So not far now. There's one final kind of nasty kick up that you can see ahead of me, and then I never really know where the segment ends. I just know that you go over this steepish crest. I think my Garmin is very slightly ahead of the camera, and I mean very slightly, but I think this 15-16% it's reading is on that steepest section. I don't think it gets any steeper than that. So yeah, it's just a case of pushing over here and around this corner, and then up to the top. I was a bit weak on the power, but so be it. There, I really lost traction there. Who picks the gravelly line? People who aren't thinking, I think, is the answer about who picks the gravelly line. The old club hill climb came out on the left there on Mountain Road, and I do intend by the end of the year to have videos of every way up Hope Mountain, just because I think that'll be a nice little exercise to do. I've not cycled a lot of them. And on the right here is what we call in the UK a country park. It's not like a national park level, it's just a small area of reserved nature. And you get a nice view out over what we would call the Llandegla Moor, the Degla Hills. So yeah, that was Hope Mountain. I hope you enjoyed my effort up Hope Mountain. I'll give you some wrap up here.
So I'm quite happy with that. You'll see on the video there's a point where I probably blew, and then it was just survival to the top. But as these things go with my current fitness, I was happily sitting around the 350 watt mark for, I guess, 5-6 minutes. That's pretty good, considering I'm fatigued from the last few days. Had a hard ride out here in the headwind. Yeah, I'm happy. It's a lovely climb, that. Excuse me. So down we go. This used to be my least favourite bit of this ride, descending this hill. I'm not quite such a wimp on the descents now, but I'm still very cautious.
Hi guys, so you catch me the day after recording both my Hope Mountain and Moyle Arthur hill climbs. Legs are sore. It was a hard ride, but a good ride actually, and I'm feeling much more positive about it. It's a kind of low day on the bike and a bit of gym work, hence the weights being out. I will flick straight over to Strava and we'll have a look at the ride I did yesterday. It's actually a little bit more than 123. My Garmin didn't start for the first few K for some reason. Not loads of elevation, 1,500 meters. I'm quite happy with kind of the consistent power. I was trying to make myself disciplined that I tend to break a ride like this up. When I'm going down the Wirral here, you can see it's all pretty flat, and I try and just do that in sweet spot and kind of bookend my ride with a sweet spot effort. So 20 minutes-ish in sweet spot to get to the Welsh border, then do whatever I like through Wales, and then 20 minutes bookend sweet spot to come home. No idea if that's a sensible training plan. People who plan sensible training plans can tell me if that's nonsense, but that's how I feel I get fitter, by doing a sweet spot while it's fresh and a sweet spot while fatigued. And then sort of hill climb efforts and coasting around Wales. So this is Hope Mountain that I'm going to talk about. As I mentioned in the video, Hope Mountain comes relatively early on in the ride. I'll stay here for a sec, and you can see it's this fairly big hill effort there. Yeah, this is the segment. I did 7:57, which is a fair bit short of my 7:21 PR. If we look on the actual analysis, this is rookie. I should compare my effort to my previous effort. So go on here, compare. whilst that's loading, you can see that my power was actually really stable for quite a long time. That's where that car was coming, and it's freewheel. But I'm pretty happy with how steady the power was, and then I just start to flag here, and I really just can't keep the power down. And then this is a kind of last gas at the end. I changed up a couple of gears, and I just stomped the pedals to get over the top. If I look on the comparison effort, not to Craig Rogers, who is an excellent cyclist, but a comparison to myself, I basically just lost time consistently all the way versus fit Nick, so be it. That's how these things go. Nothing really more to say. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and yeah, see you in the next one.